Hey everybody, this is graphic designer Roberto Blake, and in today's YouTube video I will be talking about how much graphic designers make. Now, if you're just finding my channel for the first time, don't forget to subscribe to get new graphic design videos from me on Mondays and Photoshop CC tutorial videos on Thursdays. So, how much do graphic designers make? Well, it depends. It depends on a lot of different things. It depends on your experience, your portfolio, your communication skills, your education and background, what city you live in, and also how confident you are in asking for what you want. Now, this is in regard to graphic design jobs that are going to be salary based. In terms of working as a freelance graphic designer, you actually determine your own income by determining either a rate or project fees, or whether you're going to do a more agency style approach and have breakdown a la carte fees that vary from project to project based on your estimates, with you calculating your cost and your billable hours into those estimates. And you don't necessarily have to provide those to the clients per se. It just depends on what your arrangement is with them. But there's all kinds of different ways to approach this. And there's, like I said, there's a lot of different variables in terms of how much you quote unquote make as a graphic designer. But if you're looking for hard numbers, if you're an entry-level designer, in your first couple of jobs, expect to get something in the 20 to 30,000 a year price range, depending on what city you live in, what your educational background is, and how much freelance experience you have prior to your employment in order to have real-world projects in your portfolio. You shouldn't be waiting till you get out of college, if you go to college, to do freelance work and build up your client base and experience and that reference list for your first job, because things like that are going to determine how much you get paid, because it's about minimizing risk. I could actually do a whole separate video just on how to make yourself less risky to an employer, and the things that you can do as qualifiers to say that, hey, you know, you're not a risk, you're an asset and you're an investment to whatever company you are. But specifically speaking to graphic design, there are a lot of things you need to do to make yourself less of a risk. And I cover some of this in my portfolio videos, as well as my How You Become a Graphic Designer video. But ultimately, if I were going to break it down to some simple things, you need to already have some previous real-world freelance experience, so that you have clients as references. You need that work in your portfolio so that you can show that these are real projects that people paid for, and communicate what your role was on it, and that you just don't have student work, so that we can see your working knowledge instead of just theoretical stuff or things that you were given an infinite amount of time on from a professor. We need to see that you were able to meet real deadlines for real projects for real people. This is, again, going to make you less risky to an employer. It's also going to show your ability to follow guidelines, meet deadlines, follow instructions, keep a client's brand and their audience in mind when you're developing your project, just all these different things. But anyway, like I said, that could be a whole nother video. Let's get back to the part about how much you're going to make, how much you're going to get paid, etc. So typically, if you're going to do work as an in-house designer or at an agency, you're going to be doing a salary position instead of an hourly position. Like I said, if you go to work for an in-house company, and it depends on what industry it is, then you can expect something in the 20 to 30,000 range as an entry-level designer. However, if you're working in a specific industry that has a higher value on graphic design, something like fashion, something like publication or editor or editing, something like advertising, anything like that, then you can expect a higher initial salary, and that range can be anything from starting as low as the 30,000 range, entry level, to the 50,000 range. If you're more experienced, again, you can expect and command higher salaries depending on your work, your experience, and your education, and again, your confidence. Confidence is essential in negotiating your salaries, because if I was going to be 100% honest in this video, I would have started with graphic designers get what they feel that they're worth and what they're confident enough to ask for. Because if you have a portfolio that can back it up, what you ask for is usually what you'll get, especially if you don't settle for whatever offer is first put on the table, or what they're going to negotiate with you. Because one of the things about negotiation is, if someone makes an offer, it means that they're willing to go higher than that offer more often than not. They're accepting the possibility when they make the offer that you may say no. So you can always go slightly higher. Again, use your own discretion with this, and this isn't always 100% true, but again, there's several books that you can read on the art of negotiation, and you probably should prior to any of your interviews. But you should also feel confident in your work and be able to ascertain a value for not only your work, but your time for yourself. Understand that the time that you're putting in it's time that you don't have for yourself, that you're creating anything. It's time that you're not on the computer learning new skills. It's time that you're not spending with friends or family. It's time that you're not part of a hobbyist group or a community, etc. This is your time. This is the value you place on literally your own life. So if that's the case, you need to be confident in what you're asking for regarding that, and you need to be willing to not settle for anything that you think is less than fair. Usually the shelf life of many designers in their initial positions is 3 to 5 years. So understand that when you are, doing this and you're going in, that this is where you're starting, but it may not be where you finish in terms of salary, and it definitely won't likely be a place that you expect to be for the next 10 years. Most designers do not stay at any one company or agency for more than 5 years at a time, with rare exceptions. And there are a lot of different reasons for that. A lot of designers, once they get that level of experience, let's say at an in-house company, then they transition into an agency, or they might switch which parts of the industry they decide to work in. They might decide to work in entertainment and then realize that they want to work in education or fashion or vice versa, etc. So there's really not a right or wrong there, and again, I could do a whole nother video on this specific topic, but the industry that you decide to work in also will determine some of your salary caps and ceiling, and how much they actually value design work. In the fashion and in the editorial industry, design and aesthetic and typography, these things are extraordinarily highly praised. But in another field like maybe the technology sector or in the B2B sector and everything like that, it's going to be maybe a second or tertiary consideration out of something overall. Again, this may be different, or this may change as things go on, as more and more different companies and more different industries are starting to understand the value of branding and presentation and how it influences buying decisions, and how important it is to have crisp aesthetics and across the board, and to really communicate strong design sense in your brand development. So as more companies kind of catch on to things that Apple's known for the very beginning, etc., you'll find that designers will probably see some bumps in their overall value, the median range in terms of salaries, and also how much a company actually values them internally. Of course, this could also just me being very optimistic. In terms of hourly rates, something that you need to keep in mind, aside from the value of your own time, is also the value of the results that you're producing and how those results are going to be used. But you should also keep in mind that as a designer, you may have invested tens of thousands of dollars into your education, and then thousands of dollars into your physical hardware, and hundreds if not thousands of dollars into your software, especially if it's the Adobe software. And if you're on Creative Cloud, that's a continuous monthly investment or yearly investment on your part. So when you're thinking in terms of what you'll accept in terms of hourly rates, or if you're billing your clients in terms of billable hours, keep in mind some of your own investment and cost in just being a designer and being able to offer this as skilled labor. Remember that unskilled laborers out there, some of them are making $15 an hour. So as a designer, you have no business accepting the idea of a rate of $10 an hour or less. Even as a beginner, you shouldn't be thinking that way, because you're certainly worth more than that in terms of your skill set requiring actual creativity, possibly artistic ability, and a wide range of specialized knowledge, education, and significant hardware investment. There's no reason that you should be making less than somebody unpacking things from a moving van. Not to degrade the value of that capability, or laborers or manual laborers or anything, but again, you should not be accepting or willing to accept the pay that someone did not have to invest in, whether it was a formal education or invest their own time in learning a skill in a trade that also requires a level of inborn talent. You should not be doing that at the same rate that someone's only offering physical labor, throwing a warm body or a pair of muscles at. You should by no means be willing to accept that, and it's insulting if anybody is offering you that. So, don't feel obligated to take that, or don't feel like, $15 an hour or even $20 an hour is a lot of money for what you're doing, because it's not. It's cheap. It's cheap in terms of the cost to you as a designer to become what you are. If you've got, a high-level education from, like, let's say the Art Institute, any of the art institutes all around America, that is a significant cost. Just even to have an associate's degree in graphic design from the Art Institute is going to be an over $50,000 investment on your part. So you're looking at close to, if you go through formal education, whether it's 2 years, 4 years, what have you, you're looking at possibly a six-figure investment in your skill set from the jump, not including the continuous investment in software, hardware, and tools, and other learning materials, stock photos, and other things like that throughout the entire time of your career. So there's a cost associated with being a graphic designer. Sounds like a great topic for another video, by the way. So again, don't sell yourself short. Don't take spec work, don't sit there and be willing to take menial salaries and menial hourly rates. When you're just beginning, it can be hard and a struggle to get those initial gigs, and do what you have to do. But at the end of the day, when you're ready to move into the more professional part of your career, and when you're ready to work for an agency or an in-house company, don't be willing to settle. Don't take an offer that you're not comfortable with just to feel like you have to do this to quote unquote become a designer, because you already are a designer. Whether someone is hiring you to do that design work, you have the capability and the capacity and you're actively doing it. Whether you're doing it for yourself or someone else, that makes you a designer. And the quality and standards that you command of yourself is what will make you a professional, in addition to your experience and your self-education. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it helped you understand a little more about how much graphic designers make and gave you some food for thought in entering your career as a designer. I'll have some links in the description below to some different places where you can get information on the median salary ranges and averages of what designers make in specific areas and regions. Again, if you work in a more metro area, or if you work in the north or even on the west coast, if you're in the States, then you're more likely to get a higher paying salary as a graphic designer. If you're a graphic designer in the international community abroad in the UK, metro areas and areas that have a need for design are going to be areas that have a lot of business, technology, or might have ties to the entertainment industry, the fashion industry, printing and publication, etc. You can also get your initial starting graphic design jobs in those places, usually through print shops. There are probably no end of small design firms, boutiques, studios, etc. And of course, with globalization, freelance work is readily available on sites like freelancer.com, elance.com, etc. So always look into that, and don't limit yourself to just the opportunities in your local area. But again, I'll probably cover something like that in a whole nother video. Doing this video, I think I came up with 10 different directions I could go with for future videos. Anyway, I hope you guys learned something new. As always, please keep watching these videos and let me know if you have any suggestions for other videos I should do in the comments below. Like this video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe, watch the other videos in my graphic design series. And as always, thank you for watching.